Alright, welcome back to the Game Smash Podcast. As always, I'm your host, William Liberty, and with me is...
Fawaz Muhammad Yusuf.
And we're going to be covering a couple different things. Bloodborne, launches. We got some news from the creators of Zelda. We're going to be debating a bit about what we think about Splatoon. DMC4 Special Edition. We're going to be talking Halo Online and Halo 5. We're going to be, once again, Blackrock Mountain coming April 2nd. So get hyped. We'll definitely be talking about Hisako, who's awesome, new character for Killer Instinct. And then Tekken 7. Alright, so let's start with what we played this week. So I got my hands on Helldivers. Yeah, and it is awesome. It is a really fun game, and I got to experience it. I bought the game, invited 3 of my buds over, and we just played all local play. So basically 4 people at once.
Okay.
And they honestly, I think Helldivers should be replaced to Try Not to Kill Your Teammates, the game. Because I cannot believe how many times we killed ourselves with friendly fire in those couple hours we played it. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
And our favorite thing that was happening constantly is that we would call in. You would kill. One of the mechanics in the game is that if somebody dies, your partner has to actually call in a beacon for you to respawn. So what was happening was that they would call in the beacon for us to respawn. They'd get distracted by an alien and then walk over to the respawn and then be killed by the respawning Helldiver pod, and then the whole process would have to continue. Yeah. All over again, and it was freaking hilarious, and it was a lot of fun, and I think that game is damn good. I haven't really tried the multiplayer yet, so I don't know how the online connection works just yet, but locally, just playing with everybody on the same TV, it works great, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, so what you been playing, Fawaz?
Well, I've been playing this game called Real Life, and it's I haven't really had to. I really haven't had time to play much this week. I played a little bit of Helldivers, because I don't know if you played it online yet, but the Galactic campaign, it's almost over. We've defeated the aliens, we've defeated the cyborgs, so we're just trying to make a final push on the Illuminates, who are pretty much your Protoss.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't had a lot of time to play too much this week, unfortunately. So yeah.
Fair enough. But before we get into our news, we just like to tease something that was going to be coming out this week. We're going to be starting a new thing called Game Smash Quick Looks, which is basically we do a little video showing just a little quick look of a game. It could be anything. Just probably some games that we personally want to highlight, have more people know about and stuff like that. So right now we're going to show the preview clip, so enjoy.
So
L1 to bring up your radio, use the D-pad to input the combination for a resupply, and enter down, down, up, right.
Yeah, so just press X. Okay, so hold it.
Okay.
And then you see
down,
the input.
Down, up, right.
Yeah.
Press R2, then release to throw, or triangle to cancel. So R2.
Uh-huh. So you just toss it.
Supplies incoming.
And then...
Oh, okay, so you can call in different types of ordnance.
Yeah. So go stand on the blue thing. It'll so you can pick it up immediately.
All right.
Yeah, just stand right there.
All right. Flaws. We're gonna have a talk about this. All right, and now, without further ado, let's just jump into some news. All right, so Bloodborne, it's here. It launched, and it's pretty much most people are saying it's the PS4's first must-have title. It's silly enough. So I got my copy of Bloodborne. I had it for a week.
PS4?
Yeah, I had it for a week. Didn't have a PS4. and finally I finally picked it up today, and I still haven't took my PS4 out of the box. I haven't set it up yet.
Oh my god.
So yeah, I'm gonna be diving right into it. Definitely for sure for next week. So I'll be able to give more hands-on details about it. But from what I've seen, it looks really, really good. It looks really action-packed. And the thing that it's like, a lot of people saying like this game is really having a lot of people turn heads and go, you know what? Maybe I should get a PS4 now, because literally I've been talking to you, and you've been like, oh, I should probably think about getting a PS4 soon. I have another friend who just bought his PS4 like 2 days ago, and then I have another friend who's like, oh yeah, Bloodborne, I should pick up a PS4, and he's picking it up tomorrow, and it's like everyone's picking up PS4s, and I find that really interesting. And it seems like Sony is even pushing this game because like there is actually sales for the PS4 happening right now. So it just shows the kind of confidence that they must have with this game to really help push the console. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be really good. And yeah, I'm really excited. But what are your thoughts so far on just Bloodborne? Getting a good amount of praise.
I'm happy because I wanted to buy a PS4 for a while. Most of my friends have PS4, so that's the console I've wanted to buy. But it's just nothing. I mean, the console, from what I've heard, the console itself is amazing. It functions really well. It doesn't crash on you. There's no red rings of death nonsense. It's not as flimsy as the PS2. The UI is really good, all that good stuff. But there's just nothing to play on it.
Right.
So the order came out, that was mediocre. So now that Bloodborne's come out and it's actually like, from what I'm hearing, amazing.
Mm-hmm. Like even from like an art style perspective and just gameplay perspective, it's just.
I love the art style so much. There is one creature. I mean, it's so there is one creature I saw in there is witches.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally just covered in eyes.
Yeah. Oh. Just
top to bottom, it made my skin crawl. I am not looking for like if I get a PS4, I'm not looking forward to fighting those things. Yeah. Like I looked at them and my skin actually started crawling.
And see, that's what I mean. I love the fact that it's like, oh my god, I'm actually really afraid to play this game because that thing is going to be freaky to fight.
Yeah,
and I like that gamers are getting that kind of reaction from it, and I think this is good. I think, like I said, this is really good for the system, and I'm really glad that it is specifically current gen, or however you want to call it, is a PS4 only game.
Yeah.
So these is what's gonna help push the next gen, or this current generation even more.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Hopefully it's all up from here. But on a little bit of a downer, though, the creators of Zelda came out with this video, and I forget the guy's name. I always mispronounce it. I think it's EG or God, I'm sorry. But anyway, one of the creators of Zelda, he came up with a video and basically said, "Look, guys." We started with Zelda Wii U, and we're really getting into it. We're really excited for what we can do with this game and how far we can push it, but we're not going to be able to release it for 2015. I think the exact words were, it's like, making the game for 2015 is no longer our priority. Making a really, really good game is now their main priority. So, some people have had like mixed reactions to this, but for me, to be honest, good. The longer you keep this game in development and just polish and make it even better, the better.
Yeah.
Especially since even though there are a lot of people that like Skyward Sword, I personally think Skyward Sword was a really kind of mediocre Zelda game. To be honest, so I really, really want this next Zelda game to just blow everyone's minds. And from what I've been hearing, it looks like it's just going to do that. But what are your thoughts on the delay, Fawaz?
Yeah, well, first of all, I can't say I'm too surprised.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've barely seen any gameplay of it. If you compare it to Halo 5 and Uncharted, which ended up getting delayed as well. Of the three of them, I think we've seen the least gameplay of Zelda Wii U. So I was expecting it to get delayed, but and so I'm not surprised, and at the same time, I'm like you said, I'm glad. I mean, Bloodborne got delayed. I
Mhm.
mean, it's finally out and it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, if delaying it means you're gonna release a better game, it's not broken at launch. I don't have to deal with no issues at launch. Then fine, you take as long as you want.
Mhm.
I'm perfectly fine with that, especially since Nintendo has like a really really good library right now. They've got a
Mhm.
nice release schedule. The only thing is, I wonder what their holiday game is going to be because
Yeah,
if
it's curious.
this gets delayed, I mean, Smash Bros is already out, Mario Kart is already out. There's no new Mario being developed unless I'm
Mm.
mistaken.
As far as I can tell, not that I can see. I honestly, as far as what they think they're gonna probably do, I think they're gonna maybe try and push Xeno, like Xenogears a lot.
Ah,
And no, not Xenogears. Sorry, Xenoblade. And I think they're gonna probably push a couple other games. Splatoon, I think, is another game that they're probably gonna push for this year, especially. But yeah, it is kind of weird that with some of their biggest titles, Zelda and Mario, seem to be kind of nowhere to be found as far as what's going to be coming out this year.
Samus to the rescue.
Maybe that would be pretty cool. She honestly she needs more rescuing than anyone else after Other M.
Yeah, let's not talk about other.
so let's hope Nintendo brings in some games for this quarter. But speaking of Splatoon, we never really got a chance to talk about what we thought about it from what they've shown, and to be honest, I'm actually really excited. It's been a while since I've been super excited for a shooter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ever since the shooter genre got so oversaturated in like near the beginning of 2007, that was when it just started going completely out of control. I'm so happy to see like this Nintendo. It's a completely new IP. It's a very colorful shooter,
Yeah.
and yeah, lots of color blots all over the place, and it just looks like a game that it's not overly serious. And I think another really good thing is that it seems like they're not really pushing people to play online with their microphones, which I think is a really good thing to do, just so we don't have screaming 11-year-olds like in some other games. But overall, I think it's pretty good. But what are you thinking about Splatoon so far, Fawaz?
Well, I like everything I've seen about it, except the one thing you mentioned about the
Mm-hmm.
microphones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, you see, this right here is why I can just never buy a Nintendo console because these dudes just live in their own world. Only Nintendo will release a multiplayer focused, online enabled team shooter
Yes.
without voice chat support.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, see, I totally get where you're coming from. You don't want to play with annoying kids and all that stuff. But I mean, that's what the block function is there for. At least, a quick question: does the Wii U even have a block function?
A block function, as far as I can tell, I'm not even really sure. There's probably something, but
Well, that's what the mute function is for on actual video game consoles. For
yeah.
when you're playing online and you meet people who you just don't want to deal with, you
Mm,
just mute them. But then
yeah.
Nintendo releases a team-based multiplayer shooter, and they're like, "Yep, you guys are just gonna have to be flying blind because
Yeah.
there's not going to be any voice chat."
Well,
But with
yeah.
all that said, the game looks amazing. It looks really fun. I like how they refurbished how they've taken a like paint like the guns, they're all paint based. You have that
Mhm.
giant paint roller. You've got
Yeah.
like your regular paint gun. You've got a paint gun that's more like a grenade launcher. You've got one that's a
Mhm.
bit like a sniper rifle.
Mhm.
It's just I like it. I like how it looks. The characters there's a little bit of character customization.
Mhm.
You can customize your loadouts. It just looks like a lot of fun. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's
But
that's
for
to
me,
say.
like just going back to the whole the mic problem, I do agree. Like part of the problem is like especially when you're playing a team based shooter. Yes, there are those that are gonna want to be able to talk via mic, so they're like, all right, let's what's your name? G Unit 5000. Go and go and paint the corner or something like that, and I'll go take care of these guys. So, but that's the thing is that I'm afraid that there's gonna be just more scenarios where it's gonna be less talking as a team and more just people shouting and complaining. And especially since Nintendo doesn't want to be responsible for people buying this game and having their kids go online and then just immediately just being, attributed to racial slurs and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you, but I feel like that's a stereotype
Yeah.
more so than anything else. Because Little Big Planet is a game primarily aimed at children,
Yes.
and with online multiplayer that
Mhm.
has full chat support. Like if a parent doesn't want their child to go online and have people yelling at them, then they can just not buy a mic.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like I'm never in support of taking options away from everybody to cater to a few people. Like I said, introduce a mute function if there isn't one already. Introduce a mute function. You go online, if you meet somebody that you don't like, you think's an asshole, you just mute their ass and then you keep playing. But then, like, for me, for example, if I bought this game, I'd buy it because a bunch of my friends were buying it so we could play together, and then we'd be playing together and we'd have to communicate over Skype.
Yeah, so I do see your point there. It's just like it's an annoyance for people that's like, dude, I just want to talk to my friends.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I can see the problem with this is that you can see the good, you can also see the bad. But honestly, I just hope that they show off more modes. From what they've shown, they've only really shown like maybe 2 modes, like a King of the Hill and sort of like a conquest mode kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I hope that there's a couple more modes in there. I'd love to see like some sort of capture the flag or capture the paint bucket or something like
Well,
that.
they actually they have this thing where you're supposed to paint. You're supposed to capture a specific area, and okay, I get what you mean though. Sorry,
The King of the Hill, the King of the Hill
yeah,
thing.
yeah, that's more
Yeah.
King of the Hill than capture
Yeah.
the flag. My bad.
Ah,
Yeah.
it's all good. But yeah, I just like to see some more modes. But other than that, I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
I think it's a one shooter I'm really excited for, to say the least. But moving on from that, we got some more news about the DMC4 Special Edition, and damn, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good.
Yeah.
For someone who has very little knowledge of Devil May Cry, even from watching the trailer, I was like, wow, like just. It looks really revamped. It looks at 60 frames per second. Everything looks really smooth, and and the combat looks interesting. And we don't. It's back to its roots. We don't have freaking emo Dante. He's gone. So yeah. From what I saw, it looked really good. But obviously, you probably know more about it. But yeah. So from what you saw, Fawaz, what did you think?
Okay, so just for those that don't know, the Devil May Cry, the special edition is gonna have 3 extra playable characters. Virgil's gonna be playable. He's primarily gonna be like his Devil May Cry 3 version, but he's gonna borrow some stuff from his emo DMC Devil May Cry version as well. So he's gonna be a mix of those two. Trish and Lady are making their playable debuts in this game. Trish is going to be playable in all the Dante sections, and Lady is going to be playable in all the Nero sections. Virgil is going to be playable in everything. There's gonna be a new mode called this is the stuff I should know.
I think there was some. I think they mentioned something about like a horde mode or something like that.
Yeah, it's like a dark. It's called like it's gonna be like a horde mode. They didn't show any footage of that. So yeah, all in all, it looks good. The one thing that kind of bothered me about it, because for once, and I always have to have something to complain about, is that okay. So for those that don't know, the original Devil May Cry 4 was rushed. Like, you think games these days are rushed? The original Devil May Cry 4 was okay. It was half a video game, because you got to the midway point in the game with Nero, you switched to Dante, and Dante literally plays all the Nero stages backwards.
Yeah.
That's Dante's entire section. It was half a game. They had to cut a bunch of content out to make the release date. So, they cut out all the Dante stages. They cut out a bunch of boss fights. So Dante literally, you play through Nero, beat a bunch of bosses, then play with Dante and beat those same bosses in those same levels again. So I was hoping when they announced this and they were like, oh, there's going to be a new playable character. I'm like, okay, well, if they're going to take time out to make a new playable character, then hopefully they're going to make take time out to make actual levels for Dante, and I'm not just replaying Nero's levels. And from the trailer, that doesn't look to be the case. It looks like they're still shipping the old Devil May Cry 4 game, which was short. It was just short and it felt unfinished. So if that's the case, I can't lie, I am very, very disappointed because I was hoping, I'm excited to play Trish and Lady, but I would trade a playable Trish and a playable Lady for more brand new levels. Yeah, that was what I wanted primarily from this. So I mean, they haven't confirmed that that's not going to be the case yet. They didn't show any new levels in the trailer. So we'll see. Yeah. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yeah, it does seem like a problem, especially since it seems like from what the trailer showed, for the most part, it seems like they're focusing more on just adding modes, characters, and they haven't confirmed that they're adding more levels to just the overall game. But we'll keep our fingers crossed. Hope that they do. But from what they've shown so far, I think it's going to be pretty good at the very least.
If it's not price, I'll probably just buy it either way. Honestly.
Yeah, exactly. But moving on from that, we've got some Halo news. Halo Online it's a free-to-play shooter. You can have up to, I think, 4 to 16 players per match. And the best part, it's only available in Russia. So if you live in Russia, congrats.
So yeah, raise your hand if you saw this coming.
Yeah, not really. I honestly, I was just like, really, Russia?
Yeah.
Like,
here's what's even funnier.
Yeah.
You watch the trailer and the game is in English.
Yeah, that's freaking wild. I saw that. Well, I mean, it's heard of for a lot of like Japan exclusive games, right? That makes a lot more sense, But for me, like, just a game to come out only in Russia is really kind of interesting. But it kind of sucks because it's like, oh, well, there's this kind of interesting new Halo game, and I'm not going to be able to play it. Honestly, this game intrigues me more at this point than Halo 5.
Just because it's so weird.
Yeah. And we have gotten like a release date for Halo 5. It's October 23rd? 27th. Close enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, to be honest, honestly, I found this was really interesting, just a free-to-play Halo game. Honestly, I don't think it will be that good because I haven't really seen a lot of free-to-play shooters that have not just devolved into spend as much money as possible. I feel like shooters, free-to-play shooters, actually have a big problem with that from time to time. But to be honest, it's just kind of interesting, just that it's only available in Russia.
But yeah, here's a quick question about Halo 5, though.
Okay.
You know how Uncharted got delayed
Yeah.
and Zelda Wii U has gotten delayed as well, right?
Yeah.
So how do you think like Microsoft can really catch up with Sony and I guess distance itself from Nintendo this holiday season? Because I mean, here's the thing that a lot of people forget because of how much Sony has been outselling Microsoft. The Xbox One is actually selling really well.
Yeah.
It's selling faster than the 360 did, and the 360, sold faster than the Xbox did. So it's like, Microsoft they're improving their foothold, and they're creating a market for themselves. But because of how badly they launched the Xbox One and how Sony has just been outselling them out the gates, they've had a dark cloud over their head. So yeah, I guess that's my question. Do you feel like with Halo 5 coming out this holiday season, fingers crossed, do you think this is Microsoft's time to remove that phobia that people have about them and maybe, catch up to Sony a little bit, make Sony start sweating?
I think they could do it. I know Halo 5 is definitely a strong contender, but for me, this is the problem. Like, as far as I can tell, for me personally, there's not like an Xbox One game that's coming out this year where it's like, oh my god, I gotta have it. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen one that's really driven me to really, really want to get the console instead, right?
Yeah.
I still think that they have a decent lineup. They got some fun games like Titanfall and Killer Instinct and a couple others. And I think Halo 5 is definitely going to help sell the Xbox One. I just wish that they had something, I wish they had something like Bloodborne, which is kind of different. And kind of like, it's from a, it's just a slightly different idea or something like that.
Well, they had Sunset Overdrive last year, so
Yeah, they did have that, and I enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was a pretty interesting idea and game, but it didn't, for whatever reason, it just didn't sell me. But honestly, I think that that's what they need, is that they need a little bit more of that, especially in the holiday season. I think if they can get something something just as creative as Sunset Overdrive, maybe this holiday, then I think, yeah, they could probably start making a push towards beating out Sony.
yeah.
But
Well, they do have that game Scalebound, which is by
Yes.
Platinum
Mhm.
Games. There we go. Which is by the dudes that made Bayonetta. It's called Scalebound. We haven't seen any footage of it yet, but they announced it at E3 last year, or maybe the year
Mhm.
before. I don't
No,
know.
I think they announced it at E3 last year.
So they have that
and-
coming. We don't know when, but that we're probably gonna see footage of that at E3. So
Yeah.
that could be interesting. But yeah, no, I get your point. I get your point. I mean, Halo 5 is gonna push crazy numbers because it's Halo. Like
Yeah.
that's what this franchise does.
Yeah.
But no, I do get your point. They don't really have anything because the people that are gonna like. I don't like Halo.
Yeah. Like-
Never will.
For me, the last Halo I really liked was Halo Reach, and that was when I kind of gave up on the series. Was after Halo 4, I just said, all right, I've had enough. This is enough Halo for me.
Yeah, for me, the only Halo I've ever liked is Halo 2, but that's another story. So yeah, maybe if they had something different, because Sony has Uncharted, but then they had Bloodborne, so if they could have something a little different, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I think that they need. But hope maybe they'll surprise me. Maybe at this E3 they might release something that like kind of blows me away. But we'll have to see. But our next piece of news, Blackrock Mountain. It's coming out April 2nd. So all you Hearthstone fans, I know you, Fawaz, or you've got that pre-order card skin and you're so excited. And
I actually didn't pre-order it because you can only pre-order it with money, and I'm gonna buy this with gold because I have like a ton of gold saved up. I haven't had to buy a pack in like a month, so because I have pretty much every card at this point, so I just have tons of gold that I have nothing to do with.
Yeah.
So I'm probably just gonna buy this using gold. But they revealed all the cards today, and I'm excited. I'm excited. The big focus is on dragons this time, and on on late game expensive creatures, which is how I like to play my card games. So I'm really excited to see how it plays. I mean, obviously these things don't always pan out, and some of these cards that I think are gonna be good are gonna end up being garbage.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to what's that, Thursday? Maybe Wednesday.
Yeah, blah, blah, let me check. It's going to be Thursday. Yeah, Thursday.
Okay, yeah. I'm looking forward to Thursday to, play the first wing anyway and unlock the first batch of cards. And then, seeing how these things affect the meta going forward. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how people build their decks differently now with these new cards. I think that the card that I think is going to be very, very popular as soon as this comes out is that dragon that's like a 4-drop for like a 5/6.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, sure, it gives your opponent like a 1-cost creature, but that could be just like trash. It could be a freaking like novice gnome or something like that, like a 1/1. And that will usually not be that much of a threat. So I think the trade-off is really not that bad in things considering. But yeah, that I'm excited for, and I think it's just going to be interesting. I'm really excited to play it. Looking forward to it Thursday. So definitely, if you're a Hearthstone player, mark your calendars. But moving on from that, we got a trailer for the official trailer for Sako for Killer Instinct, and oh my god, she looks so cool.
It looks really cool.
Oh.
They did an amazing job. Like, I just gotta give Iron Galaxy, not Double Helix, because the last time I mistakenly said it was Double Helix that developed this game. So I got to give Iron Galaxy props. They've done an amazing job with these season 2 characters. They're all really unique and they all bring something new, gameplay wise, story wise, and design wise. Like they've just done an amazing job. But yeah, like the trailer, she just looks amazing. There was all talk about how because about how some soldiers, plundered her village, and she's like a ghost looking for revenge, which I think, which is the concept behind that, that Japanese ghost that they're borrowing it from.
Yeah, it's all a huge homage to the Japanese kind of ghost and horror genre, like the kind of like the Grudge kind of sound effects that kind of were in the trailer as well, and just the weird crawling on the ground and spastic stuff, and it's just that those kind of homages and stuff like that I think is really important when you're trying to push this character, and I just think they did such a great job, and I love everything about her design, and I just think she's great. But I love Japanese horror, so I knew I was gonna love this character even before I got the full trailer. So I'm really excited to see her and how she fully plays, especially against other characters. But some more fighting news. Tekken 7 announced a bunch of new characters. We've got Jin, Devil Jin, and Jose. And they all look pretty cool, to say the least. The one thing I will say is out of all the trailers, the one that I thought was the coolest was in the Jin trailer. He puts up the hoodie over his head, and in mid-fight the hoodie falls off. Like the hood kind of falls back down on his back, and I thought that was a really, really cool little detail. But overall, these characters look pretty cool. I don't know that much about Tekken, but to say the least, I think the game definitely looks pretty solid presentation-wise.
Yeah. So and I'm just bust out my Tekken 7 notes real quick.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, Tekken 7 is supposed to wrap up the Mishima bloodline. Because there's been beef between the Mishimas. Okay, so for those that don't know, the Mishimas are pretty much the video game equivalent of the Lannisters. Okay, they are an absolutely dysfunctional family. Heihachi, the grandfather, he killed his wife, Kazumi.
Yes.
And then he trapped his father. Oh God, I forgot. Whatever. He trapped his father underneath their castle for some reason. I can't remember why. And then the one that caused everything, he takes his son, Kazuya, and he's like, "You're not strong enough." Throws him down a mountain, and he's like, he's like, you want to get if you are my son, you climb back up. So Kazuya, makes a deal with the devil to exact revenge, and that's how this whole shit show just starts. Yeah. So anyway, apparently this game is going to wrap it all up. Heihachi's wife she's actually the boss in the arcade version. So she's making her first appearance, and it's going to be interesting to see how they wrap up the story. Because it has started to get a little convoluted. Yeah. So hopefully they wrap it up with a nice bow and stuff. And but gameplay wise, they've introduced a wide variety of characters, like from a bunch of different nationalities. This Josie girl, she's Filipino. There's an Egyptian dude, there's an Italian dude, and all the characters are going to be speaking their native language now, because what used to happen was the characters all spoke Japanese,
right? Because games made in Japan, that's understandable.
I mean, makes sense. Yeah, but all the characters are gonna speak their native language now, so that's actually pretty cool. That's a very nice touch. So props to them for that. We don't have a release date yet. I think it's gonna be at Evo. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be at Evo.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be at Evo. I think it's we actually announced it, I think, on one of our earlier podcasts.
Well, there you go.
Great memory for Waz.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, it's probably going to be at Evo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Tekken 7 looking good.
But yeah, I think we're going to have to wrap it up here. But if you liked what you heard, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And if you have a question, make sure to leave it in the comment section, and we'll answer it next podcast. And as always, this was William Liberty and
Fawaz Muhammad Yusuf.
We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Bye.